An interesting question was in the group today, and I'm making another video, but I wanted to answer this because it's interesting. So someone asked, is the outsourcing of call centers uniquely an American, and they mean American and Canadian, thing? Like, do call centers in Nicaragua support Spanish-speaking countries, Spain, for example? So quick things. Yes, we do actually have call centers that speak Spanish, and there's tons of them, and they only speak Spanish-speaking countries. Spain, Mexico, Colombia, but not so much Colombia, Argentina, Chile, places like that. Absolutely, that is a thing. So the idea that only the U.S. outsources that stuff, absolutely not true. However, this is a region where English is spoken as a second language. It's the official language of the country as the second language, right? Same in Mexico, it's taught in school. So this particular region, several places that you think of as offshore call centers, it's because English is already spoken there in very large amounts, very clearly. And so English makes sense to outsource to certain regions where English is the second language. Germany would be outsourcing often to places in Africa where they speak German. France would be outsourcing to Quebec. They outsource to the Congo and places like that where they speak French, right? So that's why you're seeing this, and that's why you picture India, China, the Philippines, Latin America as English and Spanish language call centers, because those are the languages used in those regions as secondary, or in some cases primary languages. So that's why you see that. But I totally understand why you get that way. Now, the other thing is that why are certain places like the United States doing this all the time and other places like Spain not as often? Even we do see Spain, but why do they do it less often? Well, the income, the minimum wage, and the tax base and all that stuff, the cost of a worker in Spain is not that much more than a worker in Nicaragua for a call center. So there's not this big advantage to moving it offshore. There is some, but it's relatively minor. And there's plenty of workers to do that in Spain, and finding people who speak clear Spanish in Spain is pretty easy. In the United States, the cost of a worker in America, even though their earnings isn't that much higher, is dramatically higher than even in Spain or in here. For example, I have a call center in Portugal that outsources from the United States, right? That's one of the places that we send calls, because the problem is that the United States is so expensive. Not that it's Nicaragua is so cheap, right? I don't operate call centers in Nicaragua. I operate them all throughout the world. And the United States is the number one place for outsourcing because two factors. The cost of doing it and that you do in the United States is dramatically higher than other places. It's outrageous how expensive it is to run a call center in the U.S. and partially because of the cost, but for other reasons too, the quality you get in the United States is some of the lowest anywhere. If you want a bad call center, put it in the U.S. If you want someone to complain that you offshored your call center, put it in the U.S. Every time I've worked with a call center that someone's like, I won't ever speak to these offshore people again, they're always Americans with thick accents. And that's the problem, is getting people to work at quality call centers in the U.S. extremely difficult. So the U.S. has to outsource.